I always go through these like ups and downs of inspiration. It's been happening for literally years and years and years. I don't know why I still get like, when it happens, I'm not too bad at the moment. I'm kind of like sitting here, but I don't know. I feel like underlying everything that I come across, which is actually like super neurotic and probably not healthy, and perhaps like the greater solution to it all is just to like chill out and have acceptance and like go with the flow. But that does lead back into what I'm about to say, which is, you know, a very creative person. It wasn't always the way, like I suppose it was inherent. It's inherent in all of us. But I didn't really believe in my creative abilities, and therefore the identification with creativity, which, you know, that's another thing to be discussed, the over-identification with things, like feeling like some sort of attribute or skill equates to, I guess, a personality or a badge of honor or whatever the heck characteristic. That's a greater existential question that we can discuss at another date. But the older I get, the less attached I am to, I guess things that identify me. But at the same time, I still realize on the regular how much that is very much like a part of, I guess, my life still at the moment. Anyway, so when I was younger, I didn't really attach myself to being a creative. I just wanted it. And then as I began to like practice more, like I remember crying to my mum about it, being like, I'm not talented at anything. I have no talents. Like my mum was pretty good at poetry. Like I'd read her poetry books when she was younger. My stepdad was good at drawing. I don't know. I just kind of like internalized that. Plus like the internet was popping at that time. Tumblr was going hard. And it was very easy to be like, this is what I'm not. This is what I don't have. This is how I pale in comparison. And yeah, it was a narrative I had for a while, and then I went through a breakup and I returned to art. Basically, I didn't really have any other way to really spend my time. So I was like, you know, I haven't done art for the sake of it in a long time. As I started doing art, I realized like how, I guess, results oriented I was, how much I wasn't able to actually enjoy the process because I was thinking about if I could hang it on my wall, or if I could post it, or if I could show people, you know, my success. And I kind of just had this realization like, damn girl, like really, like you can't even just enjoy like a nice afternoon in your room on your own. You've closed the world out. You know, I was obviously living at home at the time. You've closed the world out. I would have lit candles and like made the environment really nice. And like you can't even enjoy it because you're too busy thinking about what you're going to do with the process. You know, like how this is going to equate to something, how this is going to prove something, I guess, how this is going to help you receive some kind of validation. I don't even know. I don't think I thought about it that deeply, but I definitely was like, there is a problem here and I'll solve it. So yeah, I just started to notice like how much tension was coming up in my body when I was creating, how much my mind was wandering towards like, will this piece be one I can share? Will this be a piece I put in my house? Will this be a piece I can sell? Which was probably more the narrative at a later date. More so now, that's what comes up. It's no longer like, can I show this off? It's more like, can I sell this? But anyway, it was helpful, and I think I'm a pottery teacher now. Pottery is probably one of my main, I guess, art forms that I do. Now that I teach, and I've done it for like years now, I'm kind of like over it a little bit. I've started doing oil pastels. That's been fun, and that's what's brought this back. So bringing it all back. Actually, no, let's not bring it all back because I have things still to say and I don't want to wrap it up. This is the point of the discussion, is to go all the way out this way. We don't always have to have things neat and tidy, but it is hard for me to stay like on track. It is very hard. I'm doing pretty well. I'm actually also filling in time right now because I've kind of forgotten what I was going to say. That was my experience with creativity. Pottery was really good because it's such a skill that you really have to kind of just like get the end process out of your head. Like it's very like meticulous, which like each step. So you almost can't really see your way out that much until you've completed that step. And I guess, you know, any sort of art form is that way, but maybe you find your thing that's like, that you understand a little bit deeper than just like the facade it has. And that's like pottery. With like painting and stuff, I have my own relationship with it, but I've never been able to be so detail oriented in it that I only see like the space I'm working in. I definitely enter into some flow states, which I really enjoy, and want to get back into that more often. But pottery was probably like the first art form that kind of like helped me really like learn about myself a bit more, release attachments, be okay with the process, notice that this is going to be really difficult if I don't listen to my body, aka force myself to create when I'm not ready to create. So that was really awesome. And yeah, so that's kind of been my relationship with creativity. Now, you know, at a certain point I started claiming like, no, I'm an artist. Like, this is what this is just someone who is dedicated to the expression through art, you know, to the expression of themselves through art, or to just the journey of art, or kind of understands that drawing, painting, writing, expressing is like fundamental to like a healthy sort of holistic way of living. So I was like, I'm an artist. Now I happily say I'm an artist. What my journey has now transformed into is, I don't want to say like the amount of pressure I put on myself to create, because I think that's pretty like standard, and maybe just in general what I'm saying is like super standard. But for me, it's, yeah, not so much the pressure, though that is very much there and something I'm aware of and working on, but it's actually at every stop, every point of my journey with creating a personal brand, you know, weaving artistry into a job, as well as, you know, teaching and I guess exploring knowledge and sharing that with others, and, you know, exchanging money and time for that. It's very much centered in like who I am. I've always said to people, anyone, for so long, I just want to get paid to live. I just want to get paid to live. I just want to get paid to live. That was great. I hit a point maybe like 6-7 months ago where I was like, the energy that phrase is bringing to you is that you can just exist and get paid. So I had to kind of veer from that for a little bit while I elicited some discipline, while I was like, no, girlfriend, like, it's time we actually understood how much work it's going to require to get what you want. I'd been kind of like half copping out of the work required by almost being in like a manifestation energy, by being like, oh, I kind of half have to do work, and the other half, you know, if it's meant to be, it'll just be given to me. So I had to like 6, 7, 8, whatever months ago be like, no, the entirety is up to you. Opportunities can come your way, circumstances, you know, like the world is your resource, but get real about the amount of effort it's going to take, so that way you can put the effort in, that way you can get your goals, that way you can reach your dreams, that way you can be paid to exist. So I started doing that. That was great. That was definitely like a shift for me, like finally committing and being honest with myself about my not wanting to put the effort in, almost like a savior complex, like wanting someone to come save me and do the rest of the work for me. It's where like spiritual people can get like stuck. I definitely did. Cross that threshold. That was awesome. Really happy about that. And then now it's kind of come back to that piece of being paid to exist with the business, with the like literal discipline element, which is like, no, well, you can get paid to exist. Like the business structure can be that the ways in which you get paid is through like very natural and organic gifts, I guess, that I have. So it can be through my artistry, it can be through my teaching. I've always been someone who's learned stuff and then expressed it in a way that I hope kind of reaches the person I'm talking to in a very like individualized, customized way. Like that's essentially teaching, reverting knowledge into the words and language that the person, student can understand. Always done that. So now, you know, getting paid to do that. The goal is to get paid to do that, you know. yeah, I enjoy technology enough. I enjoy social media enough. I've always, like, as a kid, I was one of those people that just like film myself all the time. Me and my friend would like make funny videos. Now I'm exploring that through like a business lens, and it all keeps coming back to enjoyment, play, curiosity, finding that like perfect balance is really what it is. For me anyway, I'm a Libra. My Chiron's in Libra in the 11th house. So for so long it's been about friendships, community, sense of belonging. Now like I'm really feeling the whole like my journey forever is going to be about like balance. I'm going to be like the fulcrum of which the scales sit. Like it's my job to be like in sync, like onto it, so that way I can bring it and balance it back out. And I'm seeing that now in my creative practices with business, goals, whatever, and even without it, just this like real need to like, yes, be disciplined, yes, like be willing to show up to your hobbies, to know what's good for you. If we're not even talking business, we're talking self-care, to know what's good for you, to know what works. And on the days where you're like, I don't want to do anything, have that really beautiful ability to tune in and say like, no, but today is one of those days where like I do need that. And then on other days, say today's one of those days where I need to not do anything but rest. That inner voice, refining that is below absolutely everything. Below even the thing that I'm trying to say that things are below. Like below everything is always my goal to like be in synergy with my body. And that is learnt practice. That does take time for me, especially with all the societal conditioning, the indecision that I experience, the myriad of voices and considerations I have in my head. I'm always like, come back into the body. There's like a thing in Taoism, Wu Wei, and it's essentially non-action. It's being so in synergy with your body and movement and I guess the flow of your natural rhythm that there doesn't even have to be an asserted action. There doesn't have to be thought. There is just doing. It is literally synergy. That is my ultimate goal. But coming back up to what's above that at the moment is, yeah, showing up for the things that I need to honor, even if I don't necessarily feel like it. But then also, it just takes such mental strength and discipline to like do an artistic hobby, for me anyway at the moment, without making it kind of serious. Like since I've been doing my oil pastels, that's been good. And I have noticed my mind being like, oh, could I sell this as a print? But then, you know, just like meditation, you practice to returning, you notice without judgment, you kind of build that muscle of noticing and returning, noticing and returning, noticing and returning, so that eventually, you know, that muscle, that time frame can be stretched out before the thought comes back in. So I know all of this, but yeah, it's just interesting and it's just hard. It's actually quite hard. And I've actually just entered in my Saturn return to my Saturn's in Aries in the 5th house, which is all about expression, creativity. I'm hearing romance a lot too, apparently it's also about, which I guess I understand. It's almost like flavoring life is almost what I think of with the 5th house. And it is really this like, really, yeah, like tuned in mixture of what self-expression looks like when it's considered, you know, because self-expression can be, you know, like it can be anything you fucking want and you can call it self-expression. Like it's like having no limits, no bounds. Like that's how I want to exist, so I exist. But there's also a level of consideration that has to happen, which is a part of the synergistic, I guess, directing process. Because when I think of the idea of flow, you know, flow state, it's the perfect mix of like almost like natural movement where your body can action before your mind even thinks, but then it also has to be given a specific challenge or guideline in a sense. So that way the movement is almost artistic. It's almost as if there's just the right amount of like limits, parameters, boundaries where you can say like, okay, no, I know what I'm gonna do. You know, it's almost like when you get too much choice and you're like, I don't like give me something to bounce off of. Like give me something I can kind of like ground down into. That would be like pure expression. That's when people say too, like, what is like, do we really have free will? And there's like such an argument about that, which is valid. I mean, I understand, I see both sides. I'm a Libra after all. But to me, I'm kind of like, without getting like really into the nuances of like privilege, circumstances, the fact that our body is proven to act before the brain registers. I firmly believe, like, just the crux of it all, let's wrap it up and tie it in a bow. Yes, we do have free will, because again, like, there is a certain level of freedom that comes from limitations and boundaries. Of course, not ones that are oppressive, not ones that, you know, you're not able to stretch your arms out of, you're not able to explore, but there is a sense of freedom that comes from, here are the range of tools that you have. This is like the general place to work within, but you have full creative freedom. Use what you want, don't use it, make this, don't make that, it's up to you. And within that you can say, okay, cool, like now I see my almost like stream of thoughts going in a particular direction. They might flare out this way, and that's freedom, right? They have the freedom to flare out this way. They have the freedom to come back that way. They have the freedom to go down in a very straight line. Like, there is room on which to move. It's almost like the parameters are almost like infinite in a sense, but there is also like there's a guiding force that almost like holds your hand and says, yeah, like, do what you want, but like, yeah, come on, like, keep moving this way. And I'm just finding that, like, I guess that balance with my creativity. It's like, at the moment, I certainly have what one would call ADHD. I'm like getting repetitive, intrusive thoughts that I've not even pressed play on this. I definitely feel like my head's a little bit too closed up here, but that's fine. Yeah. It's just, this is how my brain works. It's so like neurotic. It's so neurotic, and you know what? It's fine. It's gotten better over the years. It will continue to get better. The more half of me, again, is like, this is my gift. Like, this is my thing. Like, yes, moon's up there. Like, yes, there is a lot that I need to practice letting go of, that I need to not take so seriously. And a lot of this, I think, stagnancy and like disjointed energy I'm feeling, even with my creative energy, is probably most likely from that. It's from me not being able to access, you know, we could think of it in terms of like the feminine energy, you know, the creator force, where, you know, the feminine energy is chaotic and it can change in a second, and there's no real reins to it. The only container is like the masculine, you know, like that's where, again, I suppose there you go, like the feminine energy can fully unfold and unravel as within the container of the masculine, because then, you know, think of a storm cloud, it can just roll forever. And to have the container of the masculine almost gives the feminine a space to unravel without feeling like she's going to lose herself somewhere. It almost brings in that safety component. And part of me does feel like I'm still too in the masculine, still too like analytical, trying to figure it out, trying to create the formula, you know. If we only did X, Y, and Z. If we only did X, Y, and Z, then all would be better. And the feminine's like, just give me some time to like fully unravel. Give me some time to like really just let go, and then I'll come back to you and the storm won't be so big. Like I just need to kind of like let it out. A couple of months ago, I actually needed to, it was like same but different. I feel like I keep getting the same lesson, but just like a little bit in like more nuanced sort of, I guess, sections. And it was more so the fact that I needed to not do any creative stuff or any mulling over. I needed to do neither. I needed to just be in a neutral place. And I told myself I'm not going to be doing anything until I truly feel inspiration come in. There's so many clouds and so much beautiful stuff over here that like I wish I could show you. Hopefully once I finish this, there will still be light. But yeah. Anyway, I just needed to just be like nothing. I just needed nothing, and I needed to be in a neutral space so that way inspiration ideas can drop in, that there was nothing clogging up my channel. There was no thinking, there was no consuming, there was no doing. Like I needed to literally just like almost in a meditative state with life, so that way I could trust what was coming in. I didn't have to put so much work in. You don't always have to put so much work in for ideas to drop in. That's my problem, is I put too much work in. I don't really trust that it'll land. Yet the same thing I've said to myself for months now is I'm the most productive when I follow my flow. I'm the most productive. And that, yeah, I guess, and as an extension of that, the ideas always land. They always land, and they always feel like exciting, and I'm onto something, and I always have energy for them because they're true. It's not me grabbing, grasping, forcing. It's not me convincing myself that this is a good idea. And it did drop in. It just makes sense. Like it was just hanging over here on the sidelines until I found it, thought of it, and pulled it back in. So like, yeah, like it's time. I mean, what I need, what would be most of value, what would make most sense, I guess, what I feels more in alignment is something to more so like literally be like in front of me. But yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah. What just came into my head then was like, okay, so like next couple of days, let's not push so hard. Let's just be, like even right now, I'm like filming myself on the sunset talking because I need to have like a video finished. So I'm like forcing myself to do that. No, I wasn't really forcing myself. It was something that I'm kind of just getting distracted because there's someone walking by, and I'm getting used to like being in the outside world while filming, and it's crazy, but this is literally part of it. So this is like the discipline part of things, is literally being like, it's uncomfortable for me to be around people while I'm filming, but what's the life that I want? How do I want to get paid? I want to get paid to freaking live. So this is me living. And the idea is it's not so difficult. You know, the more I do this, the more it becomes second nature. It doesn't feel like such an effort, like pushing the words out of me, you know, being here, setting it up, like should I enjoy the sunset? Should I not? You know, the idea is eventually like, yeah, this is my job. So I don't have to do it every day, but I'll do it twice a week, once a week. And that's me clocking on, and then every other day I don't have to. At the moment, I don't really have a rhythm. It's kind of like, oh, I should do this, but I don't want to fall into shoulds. I need to film something, but don't really know what to film. Try to film myself, doesn't really come out easily, is quite disjointed. So then I'm like, I'm not posting that. But there's an end goal. And this is all in dedication to the end goal. And I've done this now, which is good. And I'm happy that I've done it. Before I came out here, I said, like, is this forcing? And then I said, it's been on my calendar for a while that I need to film something. So go and be, like, this is what I wanted. Like, this is what I wanted, is to be able to sit and enjoy a sunset as my job, you know? So this is what I'm doing. And then tomorrow, when I come out here, I'm gonna leave my phone inside, leave everything inside, and I'm just gonna be here. And then the next day, if I wanna film some content or a reel or something, and I wanna be outside for it, because it feels so much easier for me to talk when I'm like looking at an open space. When I'm like in my house, I'm like staring at a camera. It's so difficult for me. It's so hard for me to like, it's almost like being in an open space is like being able to actually like see my mind. Like there's so much that's like open and around me that I can like come up and look around, and it feels infinite, just like my mind. Whereas like when I'm in like the enclosing of walls, it feels very like stay on track. I don't know. It doesn't really help me with nourishing like what I have to say. And I'm very long-winded. I'm a very long-winded person. It's very hard for me to say things short. So yeah, anyway, that's me, that's life. Don't know if there's really any moral to that. I feel like there's many morals, many points, okay? You could find that in there. It's not really in my interest at the moment to preach. Preaching feels like I guess, the simplest and best way to like get my thoughts across, because that's the thing. I want to share my thoughts. I want to be of service by saying like, hey, this is what I've learned. I don't know if there's a possibility that that's what you need to hear right now. I want to tell you, but it just doesn't do me any, like, it just doesn't feel right preaching. And again, when I'm coming back into my body and I'm trusting the wisdom, I don't think my thing is like 5 ways to fix your shit. You know, I feel like it's more this. And I do have thoughts, you know, of like, is this too long-winded? Like, is there no real point? Like, it needs to be more But again, the more I do it, the more I'm going to maintain like the truth of who I am, which is someone who wants to like chat in an open space. And the more I'll be able to pull on thoughts and ideas and teachings that doesn't require me to work it out in real time. Like, a lot of this now is me saying things for the first time really out loud. So therefore I'm massaging it into my body and I'm working it out in real time. A lot of people who do this for a living, who teach, who are mentors, guides, or just, you know, people who show up online, they've done this for a long enough time where a lot of what they're saying, like if there's some core fundamental truths, they're actually repeating. They've already talked about their story. They've already talked about what certain things mean to them. They've already talked about this really beautiful thing they learned when they were younger that changed things for them. Like, they've already talked about it enough times where it's second nature. And I even know this from when I teach with pottery. Like, when I was first learning, I was like, oh my gosh, like, how do I even put this words? I never thought it would be so difficult. I thought it would come so easily to me. And now I run that shit like that is a script. Like, that is so easy for me. It's, yeah. And like teaching and translating how to use the wheel and to use your hands and to be with the clay. And like, there's just stuff that I repeat all the time, and it's so easy for me. And it doesn't sound like I'm repeating it because it's the truth and it comes up organically in conversation constantly. It's the same thing with being a creator, or in a position where you're talking to people. And that's what this is. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up now because I wanna be able to show you the beach before the light goes. Yeah, anyway, good talking to you. Let me know if you're experiencing the same or like some version of it. Yeah, just let me know. Like, I don't know, like, let me know, like, whatever comes up in your mind. Like, do not be afraid to comment. Do not be afraid. But no, like, the goal is a community. The goal is a community. I see people all the time having people comment on their stuff, positive stuff, hopefully, and I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. Like, that is what I want. Hey, my North Node, Chiron, Sun, all in Libra in the 11th house, and the astrologers out there know it's important for me to build a community, especially probably online. And especially with like the whole learning about yourself through another. Like, I want to see it all be reflected. Like, I want to see what comes up. I want that bounce. I want that back and forth. I want that feedback loop. I want that reciprocity. Anyway, okay, well, love you. Bye. Those clouds over there were like lit up earlier. It was so nice. And the moon.